Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's YouTube video e benvenuti a tutti i miei fratelli e sorelle italiani. And before we get into today's video, guys, don't forget to subscribe to A&J Reacts. Come join the A&J family. Now, today's video, we are going to be looking at the best possible 11 that new coach Spalletti should be going with for Italy. The best 11. Now, we have had issues in the past, particularly in the last year, with Mancini in terms of the fact that he was not picking the deserved players, the players that should be in the team for the Azzuri. And we are going to be going through each position and naming the best possible 11 that we should be going in with in our first qualifying match under Spalletti against North Macedonia this Saturday. We'll also be doing a live reaction to on Saturday, so make sure you stay tuned in for that. But let's get into the business end of today's video. We are going to be going through the current players and who should be making the starting 11. Now, this is also important to see what Spalletti will use for the Italian national side. And if he is to use the same tactics that he was using with Napoli for the last couple of years, then we could be in for a treat, not just getting good results, but playing some fantastic football. He loves for his team to press. He loves to utilise speed in attack. And he's also very well organised in commanding his team to set up perfectly for set pieces. So with all this in mind, we're now going to start looking at the positions, which first of all is going to be the goalkeeper. And I really do see the formation being a 4-3-3. So that is the formation we're going to go with. Now, in goal. It is most likely going to be Donnarumma. But if I'm being completely honest, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, he has not been performing well, particularly in the last year or two. Since his departure to PSG, he has actually been well below par to what we normally saw him. When we saw him in the Euros, the best goalkeeper by far, making key saves throughout the matches. And then we go into a penalty shootout, and due to his size and his great knowledge of penalty placement, he was able to save a lot of penalties in the shootouts, saving 3 or 4 throughout the whole tournament. And with this system, Merit knows exactly what to do. And in terms of distribution, etc., I will probably give the edge to Merit in that aspect. But on his day, Donnarumma is a phenomenal shot stopper. And with Gigi Buffon coming into the squad as well as one of the coaches, he could get a lot of guidance from the GOAT himself. So, I mean, considering we're playing North Macedonia and Ukraine, they're not teams to be taken lightly. Don't get me wrong. But you look at our team and their team, there should not be a discussion on who's going to win. So I would give Donnarumma another chance, personally, because he is a phenomenal goalkeeper on his day. So I would go with Donnarumma as of right now. But if he does not show any sort of improvements in the next 2 games, we have to consider making Merit the top goalkeeper, the main goalkeeper, because he has been phenomenal for Napoli for the last few seasons, and he should probably deserve a chance. But for me, as of right now, I would stick to Donnarumma just. Now we're going to go into the defence, and this one here, we'll start with left back first, because for me, there is no debate here. And I don't know what Mancini was thinking of in his last 4 or 5 games when he wasn't making Di Marco the main left back. He was still considering Spinazzola, and don't get me wrong, Spinazzola, he is a phenomenal fullback. And as of right now, this is probably the best depth of fullbacks we have seen for a long, long time for Italia. Di Marco, we have Spinazzola, we got Calabria, we got Di Lorenzo, we got a phenomenal depth of fullbacks. But this is just a no-brainer. Di Marco 100% has to be the starting left back. He contributes so much going forward. He is a bull when it comes to defending. His man marking is superb. He is quick. He has terrific positioning. And for me, personally, as of right now, in terms of form, he is the best left back in the world currently right now. 100% in my opinion. People may dispute that, but for me right now, DeMarco, in the form that he's on, it is impossible not to include him in the squad. So left back, 100%, it has to be DeMarco. We're going to go into right back, and for me, this is just straightforward as well, and he is going to be picked 100% because of his relationship with Spalletti. It's going to be Di Lorenzo. He's the captain of Napoli. He's got leadership qualities, defensively an absolute solid fullback, and we've seen his link up with Politano and the midfield at Napoli, and he does contribute a lot to going forward. He can score crucial goals, he can help in the build-up of goals, and he can even cross the ball into the box and get a few assists. He is a top right back, so without a doubt, Di Lorenzo has to be the right back for Italy. And I'll even go a step further, he should possibly be made captain. He is a good shout for someone who should be captain. That's my opinion, but Di Lorenzo 100% at right back. Now, centre-halves. This is going to be a tricky one of like finding a perfect partnership. If we're going with a back four, then we really would have to get this positioning and this partnership on point. We've gone, compared to last Euros, of having one of the best centre-back partnerships of this generation in Leonardo Bonucci and Chiellini, and now both of them are gone. We have to try and find that new partnership. One that works very well and one that will not let us down and doesn't capitulate under pressure. So the first name that pops up, it has to be Alessandro Bastoni, 100%. He is Italy's current best centre-half right now. And his form for Inter last season has put him on the radar as one of the best centre-halves in Europe at the minute. I mean, not in contention of being the best centre-half, that would be a stretch too far. But he is a brave centre-half. He's not afraid to go in for a challenge. He has brilliant link-up play with the midfield. He can distribute the ball well and contribute going forwards. And he's an aerial threat as well. Like, you could put him in the box, there's a good chance that he can win you a header and score a goal. So, Bastoni 100%. That was never in doubt. This is just a question on who is going to be his partner. Now, if I'm planning for the long term here, I would go with Gianluca Mancini. He is slightly older. He's 26, 27 years of age. So he's got a good 6-7 years on him of being a top centre-half. And he has been a good centre-half for Roma. But if we're going on current centre-halves, so someone for the next 2 years that is probably not going to be around for too long and is going to prove to be a solid centre-half, and someone that is playing in a back four, I would probably have to go with Alessio Romagnoli. He's a very experienced player. He's been playing for Milan, won the Scudetto with them, and was a key part of Lazio doing phenomenally well in last season's Serie A, gaining second place when no one would have thought it whatsoever. That, for me, would just edge it, and I probably would have to go with Romagnoli playing alongside Bastoni in that centre-half partnership. Now, midfield, this is going to be the toughest one for me. We have got so much quality from the selection that we have. We have the likes of Barella, we've got Cristante, Pellegrini, Locatelli, Pessina, Tonali, and Davide Fratesi. In terms of depth of midfield, by far the best I've seen in such a long time. Probably since 2006. This midfield depth is phenomenal. And picking the best midfield is going to be a tough ask because either or, I mean, probably not Pessina and maybe not Cristante, but the rest of them have got a good shout of being in there. But playing in that DM role, it could be one or two players. It could be either Tonali or Locatelli. Locatelli's probably, that is probably his only position that he should be playing at, but he likes to go forward and contribute quite a bit to attacking play. However, Tonali's form, like last season, proved to me that he was the best defensive midfielder we got, and he has not had the most comfortable starts with Newcastle at the minute. They've only won one game and lost 3, but it was not for Tonali's. It was not of Tonali's doing. Did not contribute at all to them conceding the goals. He is himself. He's played well so far for Newcastle, and I think him playing in the Premier League is gonna just give him that bit more of experience and a bit more of a test to show his quality even more. I mean, I love Locatelli, Juventino, but I can't look past Tonali. I just can't. For me, Tonali has to be playing in that sitting role, 100%. Then the two midfielders, central midfielders, one of which, 100%, Nicola Barella, and he is our best midfielder, 100%. I mean, could even go far ahead and saying currently right now, our best player. And all the big teams wanted him in the last window. A lot of big teams wanted to bring him in. Newcastle, for one. I've heard Real Madrid fans keep saying how much they would like Nicola Barella to be in the Real Madrid. So Real Madrid fans would have wanted Barella. So he's already got massive hype. And he is a class act. Him for Inter last season, one of the best. One of the best midfielders on the planet last season. So Nicola Barella is 100% going in there. And then the next one, it probably would have to be Pellegrini. It probably would be. Captain for Roma, got leadership qualities, ruthless at set pieces, he can score from distance, he is ruthless, aggressive, and he's got the touch of an angel. So he's got everything for me that I would want in a midfielder. And with their leadership qualities as well, it probably just pips him over all the other midfielders. So for the midfield 3, for me, Tonali as a sitter with Barella and Pellegrini as the more forward midfielders. Now we're going into the front 3. Now for me, this is straightforward. Now Kiesza has to be a left wing. He has to be a left wing. He is by far the most influential player that we have in this squad at the minute. It was a few years ago, but remember the Euros, remember the final. No player on that pitch was showing any hunger, any determination, or any grit to try and get back in the game. Kiesza was the only one, and that motivated all the other players to start producing more on the pitch, and that ended up leading us to win the Euros on penalties. He has that impact on this game, and right now is in fantastic form. 2 goals so far this season, and he has been performing absolute class acts throughout. I mean, every game, at least an 8 out of 10. At least. Even in that one game against Bologna where he didn't score, he was just working so hard. And he has got fights in him, which I love. He will take the game by the scruff of the neck, and we need players like that. And Kiesza is the only one that has proved that on the big stage for Italy. So Kiesza is got to be in that left wing position. If he is not in that left wing position, Spalletti, I don't know what the you are doing. And our right wing, I think, due to the relationship and how this partnership between Di Lorenzo would work very well, it's got to be Politano. For me, Politano has to be on the right wing because his relationship with Spalletti and Di Lorenzo could be an absolute game changer. Them two link up so well, contribute so much to the attack, and Politano has been, he doesn't get talked enough about in this Napoli side. I mean, a lot of hype was on Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia, But Politano contributes so much to their build-up play, so much to their attack, and on its supplies Osimhen countless times. So for me at right wing, I mean, Berardi wasn't picked for this international break, and it could be perhaps that he might be injured. However, if he was in here, I probably would be still saying the same thing about Politano. I would say Politano, as of right now, is our best right winger. So 100% it has to be Politano. He's a class act and he will contribute so much to the attack, and his link up with Di Lorenzo will be spot on, and Spalletti knows his strengths and weaknesses, so he can make that work out very well. Now at striker, this is a position where we have had no luck in for the last decade, I would say. No luck. We've had strikers in good form in the league, but going in to the international team, there's been no one that's been producing, if I'm being perfectly honest. We've had Immobile, and you look at his goal scoring record in the league for Torino, for Lazio, he is phenomenal. But last season, we've seen a massive dip in Immobile's form, only scoring 12 in a whole season. And he has proven that he does not work for Italy. He can't produce for Italy. But he has been made captain. Ciro Immobile has been made captain. I know he's captain for Lazio, but out of all the players we have, the likes of Pellegrini, Di Lorenzo, he should not be captain out of all of them. Pellegrini and Di Lorenzo have shown more leadership qualities and have been performing at a high level, taking their team to a high level like we saw last year. Di Lorenzo captained them, Napoli, to a Scudetto, and were one of the dark horses in the Champions League. He was the captain of that team. Pellegrini captaining his team to a European final last year and a European trophy the year before. Pellegrini and Di Lorenzo are the two that have to be considered as captain, not Immobile. Immobile, for me, doesn't seem like the type of player that would motivate his team as much as them two would. So I just don't understand why Ciro Immobile has been made as captain, and if that's the case, he is most likely going to be the starting striker, when we've seen firsthand that it does not work. It does not work. But then we have other strikers in there as well. We have Raspadori, who is my favourite to start as striker. He is the best striker, attacking player, centre forward that we have right now, 100%. And he's been very unlucky with injuries in the last couple of years. So there's been many times where he hasn't been picked. But Raspadori knows Spalletti's game. He knows how Spalletti likes to play. So I look at it like this. He's got to be the starter. He has to be the starter. He's a better all-round striker than Immobile currently. He's younger. He's got more determination. He's got more fire. All round, technically, he scores better goals. He's more a threat in various areas. Where Immobile, you put the ball in the box from a cross, he can head it in. You give him a penalty, he will score. He's just quite limited as a striker. So for me, this is not a question. It has to be Raspadori. But we've got other top attacking talents in there. We've got Zaniolo, we've got Gianotto, Rettogay, who's had a fantastic last season. But as of right now, this, without question, has to be Raspadori. Raspadori has to be the centre forward or the striker. Immobile does not work, and we've seen it first hand. And this is the final piece of my personal opinion on what our best 11 is, and this is the 11 that we should be going in with against North Macedonia and then against Ukraine. That is just my opinion on it. I would like to hear everyone's opinion on it on the comments below. Make sure you put your opinion forward, and don't forget to join the A&J family.